When life gets messy, when it gets stressful, when I'm anxious or fearful, I live by one philosophy. Don't trip, chocolate chip. This is gonna pass.
We are currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Marcus Aurelius had a saying that says, "Today I escaped anxiety," or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. Which is interesting because a lot of us see life that way. Everything that's happening out here in this outer world is causing me to feel this way. Anxious, panicked, fearful. Is that true? Do those things make me feel like that? Do they have that kind of power? If that were true, then everyone would have the same reaction to the things that happen in the world, right? And we all know that that's not true because everyone reacts differently. So what's the difference between someone who is really comfortable in conflict and knows how to get himself out versus someone who is uncomfortable with it and sees no way out? It's perception. Perception. But it's like Tony Robbins said, change the way you look at things and the things you look at will change. And look, I'm not in the business of telling people what to do, so I'm not trying to tell you how to handle your stressful situations, okay? Everybody handles their things differently. This is how I handle my stuff. Almost every day I spend 3 hours or so in traffic. I mean, that's enough to stress somebody out, right? That could put anybody on edge. Bumper to bumper sometimes, and sometimes crazy people just cutting you off. I've seen at least 5 people almost get into an accident right in front of me. And back to perception, I can look at it as something nerve-wracking, or I can look at it as 3 hours to learn something new. I put on a podcast or a seminar, and guess what? My 3 hours of driving now just turned into 3 hours of learning. It just turned into a school. I also like to keep this in mind. Nothing comes to stay. Everything comes to pass. I mean, look at life. Nothing has stayed. Winters, they come and go. Spring, they come and go. Summers, fall, it all comes and goes. I remind myself that 20 years ago I had a problem that I thought was going to be the end of me, and look at me, here I am. So no matter what I'm going through, and that's the key word, going through, there is an exit at the end. You're going through it, which reminds me, a lot of people go through their life like this. They just want to get through the day. They just want to get through the situation. And there's 2 ways of going through a situation. You can go through a situation and escape it by distracting yourself with things that don't matter or that oftentimes are destructive, or you can go through the situation in surrender, which means you give up trying to fight what is, you accept what is, and you just do what needs to get done. And I like to look at it this way. What if instead of just going through the situation, I get from the situation? What can I get from it? How can I go through this situation and get something from it that will help me deal with bigger, more stressful, more threatening situations? In other words, how can I help my future self so that I'm not anxious like this in the future? Okay, and look, this one's important, so pay attention. Learn the lesson that the situation is trying to teach you. This is big because I didn't learn my lesson. I'm gonna say it again. Learn the lesson that the situation is trying to teach you. If you do not learn the lesson the first time around, listen here. The situation will continue to repeat itself over and over and over in your life until it forces you to learn the lesson. And hopefully by then it won't be too late. You want to reduce your anxiety, reduce your stress, reduce your fear. And get this, every situation has a lesson for you and is an opportunity for you to grow. Your anxiety will lessen if you learn the lesson. That joke there for you. All right, there's plenty more, but I'll leave you with this. Prayer, meditation, and reflection. All right, I lost some of you when I said prayer. What I mean by prayer isn't the kneeling down, hands together, and repeating a phrase or words. And I'm not meaning to be offensive. I'm just meaning that that's not what I mean. And I also don't mean asking God for things. No, the prayer that I'm talking about is sitting right where you are, standing right where you are. Doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't even involve you closing your eyes at all. It's just taking a moment to be grateful for the things of the past, grateful for the present, and grateful for the things that will come. And I mean grateful for the good and grateful for the bad, or whatever it is that you perceive to be good and bad. All right, so now what do I mean by meditation? I also don't mean sitting quietly in some pose, repeating something. And again, I'm not meaning to be offensive. That's not what I mean. And I also don't mean thinking about something. Thinking is not meditation. No. By meditation, I mean sitting or standing right where you are and taking in the moment, not thinking about the moment, but just being in the moment, allowing everything to come and go, allowing everything to be just as it is without you labeling it or giving it some kind of meaning. Now, what do I mean by reflection? This is the part where you think about something and then you repeat it. Why? Well, because what I do is I take a moment at the end of my day to think about everything that happened, good and bad. And then I ask myself, what good thing happened today that I can take with me tomorrow, that can be useful to me tomorrow? And then I ask myself, what negative thing happened to me today? What bad thing happened to me today that I can take, learn from, and grow tomorrow? What's that thing that I can extract from my day that I can improve tomorrow so I can have a better tomorrow? Well, there you have it. That's how I help myself not be stressed and not be anxious. Does it work all the time? No, it doesn't. I have my days where I'm just completely destroyed by what's happening to me. Not everything that you do is going to be a solution. Sometimes it's just a band-aid, but it helps you solve that issue for the future. Well, fellow humans, I hope this helped. I hope that the you of tomorrow is better than the you of today.